Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is you guys are watching. Listen, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be focusing on the situation in Ukraine. Now, I genuinely don't know why this is not getting any media coverage. Obviously, it is getting media coverage, but if you do a search now for breaking news, you've got labor rebellions, you've got hot weather, you've got lethal heat in Europe. You've got Donald Trump suggesting that Doge reviews subsidies to Elon Musk's companies. So if you look at the mainstream media now, guys, and just do breaking news, realistically, guys, we are like, if you live in the United Kingdom have taken this lead role now with this coalition of the willing supporting Ukraine. So surely, if the Russians were taking ground hand over foot, if the Russians were claiming more territories, like literally by the day, you would expect that to be on the forefront of everyone's attention. I don't know why it's not happening, guys, but it isn't. So you do have to do a little bit of digging for this news, but it is there. So there is live updates, guys, okay? We're going to be talking about also how the United Kingdom faces, and this is from an article yesterday from The Independent, the United Kingdom faces deadly threat. It needs a new home guard and fast. So these are the things we're going to be talking about, guys. But first of all, let's go straight in. Hang on, what's this? Oh, hang on. Okay, so what we'll go from here, guys, all right? So this is an article, these live updates about Ukraine. Let me click some buttons. So live updates, guys, okay? Ukraine-Russia war latest. Moscow claims full control over Ukrainian region for the first time since the war began. So for those people who would think, let's just cast our minds back, actually, and have a little recap of what's been happening. So for those guys let's cast our minds back to November, in fact, not even November, October 20, what are we on now? October 24. Cast our minds back to October 24. Donald Trump coming out saying he's going to have a peace deal in Ukraine. It's going to take him 24 hours. He's not even going to wait till he's inaugurated. A couple of phone calls with Putin and it will be done. There'll be peace. They'll all be arm in arm, singing Kumbaya and eating shashlik, drinking vodka, having a fantastic time. Turns out it was a little bit more complicated than that. And these are the things I've been saying, guys, okay? I don't see any scenario right now, guys, honestly, I don't see any scenario where Britain does not get sucked into this conflict, guys. I really don't. So then Donald Trump got inaugurated. He was in power. He had a few phone calls. He shouted at Zelensky, gave Putin the deadline of 2 weeks, which was in I think that was in May. Donald Trump gave Putin 2 weeks, and I mean, listen, guys, I'm not the best at maths, I'm not the most comprehensive mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 2 weeks since May, that time has elapsed. I think he gave him another 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks, but here we are, guys. Now, 1st of July. Doesn't look like there's any peace in Ukraine. If anything, guys, I would speculate. In fact, you know what? The facts, as far as the Ukrainians are concerned, the facts are it's worse than ever for the Ukrainians. So, excuse me. Let me just read these headlines, guys, and give you live updates because there is a lot of stuff coming out of Ukraine. You just have to find it, guys, okay? Ukraine-Russia war latest. Moscow claims full control over Ukrainian region for the first time since the war began. Putin's forces claim to have taken control of Luhansk region that was illegally annexed in 2022. It wasn't. They started this invasion, guys, in 2014. This did not start in 2022, and people need to understand that this conflict in Ukraine has been going on since 2014. So anybody who thinks that this conflict's been going on since 2022. And this is what really winds me up, guys, all right? You get these people who come out on the mainstream and they're sat there in their little suits and they're saying, yes, since the 2022. It's not been happening since 2022. Remember when the Russians and the little green men, can you guys remember the little green men in Crimea? And everybody was saying, oh, who are they? Where are they from? Where are these people from? And then, you had the Russians saying that this wasn't their forces. And I was just thinking, I think this was my real wake-up call to how ridiculous media actually is. You know, I was sat in a town just outside Donetsk called Pisky, Pisky, I think it's called Pisky. I was sat in this town called Pisky, and we could see, you know, we could see tanks coming. So we could see these tanks, these Russian Soviet, what were they, T-72s? I could see T-72s coming like over the border. And I was sat there thinking, right, okay, so where are these coming from? And everybody was denying where these tanks were coming from. Everyone was saying, oh, no, they're not coming from, like, where do you think those tanks come from, guys? Like, where do you think, like, you know when, like, you know when if you're planning an insurgency, right? Look at Northern Ireland, for example. Northern Ireland. You know, Northern Ireland had, you know, there was lots of groups in Northern Ireland. There was loyalist groups. There was dissident Republicans, guys. There was all sorts of different groups in Northern Ireland. They never had tanks. Didn't happen. Never had tanks. So I was looking at this and I was thinking about it, and all the mainstream media were saying, oh, these tanks are not coming from Russia. And I was thinking, is this for real? Are you guys for real now? I mean, are you really suggesting that these tanks are just they're just materializing out of like from the magical tank tree? I don't know. Maybe there's tank trees growing in Ukraine, and like every summer you get a couple of T-72s. But that was my first real insight into how controlled the media actually is. So let me jump down, guys. Russia claims its forces occupied the whole of illegally annexed Luhansk, which would make it the only Ukrainian region to have fallen in its entirety more than 3 years after Vladimir Putin launched his invasion. Remember, guys, right? The article, didactically, it's not correct because the invasion started in 2014. The Moscow-installed leader of the occupied region said he received a report 2 days ago saying that 100% of the region was now under the control of Russian forces. Kiev is yet to comment on the claim. Luhansk was among the first regions to see a major advance at the start of the war, but Ukraine has constantly been able to keep hold of small slithers of the largely industrial region. Russia claims to have annexed it in its entirety alongside 4 other regions, which it only controls in part. Their fate is expected to form a key element of peace talks to end the war. Like, what do we think, guys? Do we think there's going to be peace talks and peace negotiations? It doesn't look like it. Look, guys, I will say this, right? When we're talking about Ukraine, I don't see anything, absolutely nothing. This is my opinion, guys, okay? I don't see anything happening in regards to peace talks, negotiations, until the Russians are up to the River Dnipro. Now, the other option is that you could get ceasefire is if the Russians agree to move out of Ukraine and restore the 2013 borders. But I don't think that's going to happen. Right, let me just jump down for these live updates. Okay, so 32 minutes ago. Hang on, we've got a video from Zelensky, guys. I'm going to play a short video from Zelensky. Let me do it with the sound off to make sure there's no ads. Right, there is some ads, guys. Luckily, in fact, can you guys hear me on? Can you guys hear me on the? Can you guys hear me on TikTok? All right, okay, right. Let me. Right, guys. So we've got a video here from Zelensky. I don't know what it says. I'm going to play it. I may stop it at various points. It's only a short video. Let's see what Zelensky's saying.
Росія не змінює своїх планів.
Right, he's talking in Ukrainian. Right, let me rewind that. In fact, you know what? We're not going to play that video, guys. I will review it and I'll talk about it later. 34 minutes ago, then, guys. Well, the headline there is Russia is preparing for new operation in European territories. Zelensky warned. So, do you know what? I think that is important, actually, guys. Let me just turn the sound off and see what he's saying. Right, so Zelensky is saying Russia is not changing its... Hang on. Right, so Russia is not changing its plan. It's not looking for a way out of this war. This is what Zelensky is saying, guys, okay? On the contrary, they are preparing for new operations, including on the territory of European countries. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't know what you guys think, actually. Now, Zelensky is saying that the Russian, now this, look guys, okay, this is Zelensky saying this, so I just hope I don't get the video cut. So Zelensky is saying in this video that that's being posted on the Independent, he's saying that contrary to what people believe, Russia is preparing a new offensive on the territory of European countries. Now, the two ways you could look at this, guys, you could look at it the one way that, you know, Zelensky is trying to gain support for the war. He's trying to gain more military aid for his war effort. By doing so, he's saying that if you don't stop the Russians in Ukraine, they're going to push onto Europe. The other side of the argument would be they really are pushing onto that, guys. You know, they really are pushing into those borders. We know that the Russians are building troops in just off the coast. Sorry, off the coast. They are not building the troops off the coast of off the coast of Finland. They are putting troops on the Russian-Finland border. So there is a Russian troop build-up on the Finnish border. That is their principle. The Russians look for where to exploit a weakness, and they must see that there is where there is a withdrawal to stop them everywhere. Therefore, more joint production, more resilience. So, guys, listen, I'm just reading a speech from Zelensky. It's in Ukrainian. More coordination and efficiency on the front line. Yeah, so look, guys, I don't know what you guys think about that, but Zelensky is certainly warning. Zelensky is certainly warning about a new Russian push. And when we go over to YouTube afterwards, guys, I will talk and give my more. I'll give a bit more in depth on that. 37 minutes ago, mapped, Russia claims full control of Luhansk region. So for those guys who don't know, the Luhansk region is like, it's like central eastern Ukraine. It's like eastern Ukraine, but like central eastern Ukraine, if that makes any sense. Russia has taken full control. Luhansk, Putin, right, nothing there that we've not already said. U.S. envoy Kellogg says Russia stalling for time in Ukraine. Listen, and again, like these things that are coming out now on the mainstream, these things that are coming out now on the news, it's kind of what I've said before. Remember when I said that the can will get kicked down the road and it will be, yes. In fact, I didn't say that, did I? Yes, of course, we will take peace negotiation, but we cannot do this Friday. It has to be, it is Yuri's birthday and we go drink vodka in Banya. Yes, of course, we have big party planned. It's been planned for 2 weeks. No wives are going. It's just for the boys. We chopping wood and we riding horses and firing bows and arrows. It's a very good day. You know, and by doing that, they're just going to kick the can down the road because then they know the Americans have to reschedule themselves and then everybody has to reschedule. And it is a faff, guys. It is a faff when you're trying to tie these people down to meetings. So, for example, if you've got the meeting planned for, I don't know, what day is it? Monday, 1st of July. Happy July, everyone. So let's just say that the peace negotiations was for Tuesday, the 1st of July. Everybody's ready to go to that meeting. If then the Russians pull out of that at the last minute or say, oh, look, we've had an internal policy, we've had a drama at home, we can't do it, it's going to have to be next Monday. They're not actually saying that they're not going to go to the peace negotiations. They're just saying, oh, we want to have peace negotiations, you know, and then the Americans will say, all right, okay, right, well, the next time we can fit this in because they have to have their entourage, they have to have their security, they have to have all their attachments and detachments going with them. It takes time to organize these things, guys. So the next time they have that negotiation, that meeting, could be in a month's time. Believe me, guys, okay, a lot of stuff can happen in a month's time. Anyway, so this is like, guys, okay, this is a statement now from the Independent, all right? I'm reading this as a statement from the Independent, so you guys can't get me done for being inflammatory or anything. U.S. President Donald Trump's senior envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg, said Monday, I'm not going to make any jokes, guys, about Kellogg's Krispies, said on Monday that Russia cannot continue to stall for time while it bombs civilian targets in Ukraine. Now, I think that's a fair comment, guys. I really do. You know, if you want to have a peace negotiation, the first thing you need to do is kind of like show willing and stop dropping those things. So Keith Clark, so this is a comment that he put on X. We urge an immediate ceasefire and a move to trilateral talks to end the war, Mr. Kellogg wrote on X. Now, guys, look, can you remember? I know I can. Can you remember when Zelensky was ambushed in the when Zelensky went to the US president's office and he was absolutely ambushed? Look, guys, I've got quite a few criticisms over Zelensky. I really have. But objectively, looking back now, can you remember when Zelensky was saying to JD Vance, "But what do you mean, JD? What do you mean about diplomacy? We tried diplomacy. You cannot negotiate. You cannot negotiate. They changed." Like, can you remember that? And then you've got JD Vance saying, "We got to try diplomacy, man. We got to have diplomacy, you know? We're America. It's the only way, diplomacy." And then, Donald Trump saying, yeah, what was Donald Trump saying? He's not back down on a deal with me. He's not back down on a deal with me. Can you remember that whole thing now? Looking back at that argument that was in the, that Zelensky was getting quite stressed about, who was right? I would say objectively that Zelensky was right. I would, guys. Like, I struggle to see anybody that can say that in that scenario, Zelensky was not right. Looking to what we know now from that meeting, and remember how people are saying, "Oh, Zelensky doesn't want a peace deal. He just wants to buy a new hotel. He wants to do this. He wants to do that." That all may be true, guys. That all may be true. But the fact is that when Zelensky was talking about this conflict, he did no better than JD Vance. He did no better than Donald Trump under this circumstance. And again, guys, listen, you've got to understand culture. You've got to understand culture to understand this whole conflict. Excuse me. Zelensky says Putin spent 2025 stalling peace. Vladimir Zelensky has said he has spent the first 6 months of the year stalling against the ceasefire. Putin has already stolen practically half a year from diplomacy. Yeah, guys, listen, it's 6 months now. In fact, it's 7, isn't it? Yeah, 7. 7th. So we're on the 7th month now, guys, all right? We're on the 7th month. And what's happened with those peace talks, those peace negotiations, those ceasefires, like from way back in January when Donald Trump said it was going to take him 24 hours, what's actually happened? Things have got worse for the Ukrainians. Which brings me on to hang on. Yeah, which brings me on. Oh, hang on, guys. There's just been an update there's just been a live update. Ukrainian drones hit target 800 miles deep into Russia. This is from Sky News now, guys. Okay. Ukrainian drones have reportedly struck a Russian facility over 1,300 kilometers from its border, according to officials. Residents of the city of Izevsk, I don't know, guys, Izevsk or something, reported explosions early this morning, while local authorities confirmed a drone strike on a facility in the city. So you can see now, guys, can't you? You know how the 12-day, like Israel and Iran lasted 12 days, and I do think that's going to flare back up at some point, guys. How Israel and Iran lasted 12 days. This has been going on now between Ukraine and Russia for since 2014, really, guys, since 2014. And you can imagine, the drone strikes, the counter strikes, the Shahed strikes, all this sort of stuff. The Russians taking ground every day, which brings me on, ladies and gentlemen, to the Home Guard in the United Kingdom. So lots of people now talking about the Home Guard in the United Kingdom, guys, okay? The UK, I'm just going to read you this, guys, from the Independent. So UK faces a deadly threat. It needs a new Home Guard and fast. Mentioning the need for home defence is too often met with sniggering about Dad's army. But when the threats from hostile nations are growing, Britain has no option to invest in a new fighting force to keep citizens safe. So I'm going to speculate massively here, guys, that this Home Guard will heavily rely on migrants. I said it, guys. I said it. You're seeing the paths now, aren't you, in front of you, all right? You're seeing the paths now in front of you, because they're going to need people inland UK. Remember, we're already seeing lots of people doing security at hotels, lots of people doing security, guys, at hotels who do not speak English as their first language. Now, I don't personally have a problem with that. The problem will come when who are those people loyal to? Are those people loyal to the people who pay their bills? Or are those people loyal to the people in their community? Now, if they've got no community in the United Kingdom, if they've not got any family ties, then you can, the Overton window of the likelihood of that. Am I saying that right? Then the Overton window of the likelihood of who their loyalties lie is kind of going to be very, very closed. Right, guys, listen, we've been on for 21 minutes and I've not said it yet. Can you guys do me a real big favor? If you're on, can you hit that like button, the follow, the subscribe, all those buttons that help me this channel grow, whether you're watching on TikTok, whether you're watching on YouTube. Buttons down there for YouTube, I believe they're up there in the up there if you're on TikTok. Guys, listen, the only way that this channel grows is by your fingers. And I know that you guys have got fantastic fingers. I really do. Right, let me jump up and get these comments, guys. Let me jump up and get these comments because I've just noticed I've been waffling for quite a while and I've not been getting the comments. Right. Oh, hang on. Oh. Okay. Good morning, everybody who's joined. Good morning, everybody who's joined. Lots of people. Four Paws is saying good morning, everyone. Tina 0511, April Lee, Jody Lee, RB Juniors here. Debbie 1973, Coral Reefing, hello mate, hope you're good. Yes, listen guys, I wanted to do a little bit of a focused live stream on what's happening in Ukraine at the moment because it's absolutely bonkers that this is not all over the mainstream media at the moment. You do have to do a little bit of digging for it. Silence is saying good morning Debbie Doo. Debbie Doobs is saying, you heard there's a fatwa out on Donald Trump from Iran. What's a fatwa? I don't know what a fatwa is. Do you know what? I'm going to have to Google it. I think a fatwa is like a fatwa is like when it's like a religious thing to attack someone. But let me just Google this. Fatwa is a non-binding legal opinion or ruling on a point of Islamic law given by a qualified scholar. Right, I'm not sure. Right, okay, I'm going to have to look into that, Debbie. I'm going to have to look into that in a minute, Debbie. Right, let me jump up and get the rest of these comments. Right, there we are. Morning, Linda Lou. Good morning, Laurie C. Coral Reefing is saying Putin does what he likes and no one has the minerals to stop him. Do you know what? I don't think it's that people don't have the minerals to stop it. I think it's they don't. Well, do you know what? I guess it is you don't have the minerals. People don't have the capacity to. Very like when you think, guys. Look. Just the mass of the mass of Russia, guys, it's absolutely huge. Russia is absolutely huge. So I don't think it's the fact that people don't want to do things. I think it's the fact that you just can't. Russia's too big. Daniel Payne is saying, what the news on the trial? So I will come on to the trial in a minute, Daniel. I will come on to that in a second. Morning, Kaz. What have I missed so far? So, Kaz, we have been talking about the situation in Ukraine. We're talking about Home Guard. We're talking about, in a minute as well, I'm going to jump onto what's the news with the trial, the two brothers trial. Daniel Payne is, in fact, Witchy Lab saying morning. I'm not sure if I mentioned her or not. Daniel Payne is saying, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Because I didn't know if the volume had gone. Sharon Owen is saying, good morning. He said he loves Raven. I think Zelensky did say that. I've never met Zelensky, guys. I've never met him. I tried to, back in 2022, we tried to get 2022, yeah. Back in 2022, we tried to get a meeting with him. Didn't go well for obvious reasons, and I ended up very. We brought some whiskey from the UK because it was a dry country at the moment, and we was going to give him a bottle of whiskey, but we ended up drinking that in the hotel. Coral Reefing is saying he seems to get all the support, then everyone regresses. So Coral Reefing, what I think is happening now in Ukraine, look, guys, and this is my own opinion, all right? What I think is happening in Ukraine right now is people are understanding that the Ukrainians can't hold them off. So listen, guys, and this is my personal opinion. So I think what they're doing is rather than sending those, rather than send military aid, what they're thinking is, so for example, Finland, right? Finland has a Russian. Let me just Google this, guys, because I don't want to get done for fake news. Right, so so this is from an article, guys, from 22nd of May. Russia ramps up military pressure on Finland's border. So we know that this is happening, guys, all right, on the Finnish border. So now just let's say, for example, you're Finland, right? And you're seeing a military buildup on your border. Are you going to be sending all your munitions, all your weapons, all your tanks, all your aircraft? Are you going to be sending that to Ukraine? Or are you going to be thinking, well, hang on a minute, right? If I send all my stuff over to Ukraine, I'm going to leave myself vulnerable, and I could be susceptible for an attack myself. And if I'm getting attacked, I kind of want all my stuff for myself. It makes sense that would be happening, and I do think that is. I do think that a lot of countries are coming to the realization now that it's not the sheer mass, guys, the sheer mass and human capital that can be that the Russians can put into this game. Right, let me jump up and get these comments. But yeah, so that was just in response to what Coral Reefing was saying about he seems to get all the support, then everyone regresses with regards to Ukraine. So everybody goes and they all clap, and then he's like, right, give me your tanks and stuff. And he's like, well, about that. Coral Reefing says, I feel like we are waiting for the Russians' lightning stage of the war. Then it's bye bye Ukraine. I don't think they're having a lightning stage, guys. I think that I mean, in this conflict, on average, the Russians are taking and this is, you can look at this for yourselves, guys. This is open source media. About 20 square kilometers are being lost every day. Of course, there's some, it's not every day. Some days will be more, some days will be less. But on average, guys, I would say that it's about 20 square kilometers every day. April Lee is saying, sounds like UK ice. What does that? I don't know what that means, April Lee. Sounds like UK ice. I don't know what that means. K Ring is saying, tap the screen, it's free. Tap the screen, everyone. It is indeed free. Tap his face is the best place to tap. I don't know how many people are tapping my face, guys. You know what? If you want to tap my face, go ahead. And then Debbie Doobs is saying, basically, Trump is fair game to be taken out. All right, if anyone can get to him. Well, do you know what? I would say good luck with that with Donald Trump. I mean, listen, guys, the Secret Service are, they're fantastic, and they will have Donald Trump on absolute lock. If I was going to do a strike on, it'd be very difficult. Yeah, it'd be very difficult. I wouldn't even want to know. It'd be very difficult to even consider that. Four Paws is saying good morning. Debbie, D. Marie Gen X is saying good morning. Tyler Evans is saying Trump attacking Elon again on X. And then April Lee is saying home guard comment. Right. Okay. Right. Sorry, April. Right, guys. So let me do it. So as I understand it, guys, the question was, what do we know so far about the Manchester 2? So the Manchester 2 guys, the two gentlemen who allegedly had fisticuffs in Manchester Airport with the police officers. Let me just check this out, guys. Now, the mainstream media's lack of reporting on this, guys, is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Yeah, there hasn't been... Oh, hang on. No, there hasn't been any update, guys, since yesterday. Again, what I think they're going to try and do straight away when the actual trial, as in those guys getting up and standing and talking about things and being asked questions, the first day of that trial, I believe it is tomorrow. So Wednesday Wednesday the 2nd or whatever it is. So I think as soon as they get up there, their judge, their barrister, their whoever is going to get up and he's going to say, look, this cannot be a fair trial because of the social media involvement in this trial. So that's the first thing. Now, if you guys remember back in... how to say? So back when, how do I say this without triggering myself and without playing respect, and while being respectful? So I'm just going to say what happened in Southport, guys. Okay, so remember what happened in Southport, and Keir Starmer came out. Keir Starmer came out and he said, "I didn't want the trial to collapse because information had been released on social media." Can you remember when Keir Starmer said that, guys? Can you remember when Keir Starmer said that? Now, I'm putting these things together. I'm remembering what Keir Starmer said by, if you release things on social media, then the trial will collapse. And do we believe that, guys? Do we believe that a mass... I mean, I can't think of words to describe that thing. I'm not even going to go. It's not even a person, it's a thing as far as I'm concerned. I can't find words to describe that act. Are you really saying that the British legal system is that weak that we can let people go if they're named? Like, do we just let people go? Oh yeah, we just let him go. He did that. It's absolutely yeah, let him go. What? No, guys, let him go. He's good. Why? Oh, because somebody released his name on social media. Oh, yeah, but he did all this bad stuff. Yeah, but somebody's let his name go on social media, so we can't have a fair trial. So I think with this trial, with the two brothers in Manchester Airport, I think the first defense before the trial even starts, he's going to claim that this is not going to be a fair trial. It cannot be a fair trial because of everything that's been released on social media. And then you guys are going to get the blame. So am I, guys. I'm going to get the blame a little bit. And then that's just going to be the way forward. And again, guys, look, whatever the outcome of this, I don't think these guys are ever going to see the inside of a jail, guys. I don't think they're going to ever see the inside of a jail. Of course, they're going to be saying they're sorry and they didn't understand blah, blah, blah. And they just got off a heavy flight and they were scared for their lives because they were scared of the racist police. And, it was terrible for them. And they've been living under so much pain and fear at the moment. So yeah, I don't think these guys are ever going to see the inside of a jail, guys. I don't think they're ever going to see the inside of a jail. I think the first thing tomorrow they will say is, how can they, and he would be fair to say that, guys. He would be fair to say that. How can this be a fair trial when all the information has been released on social media? The video footage has been released. It cannot be a fair trial. We need to get it thrown out. I think that's what he's going for, guys. I think that's what he's going to go for. Looking back from what Keir Starmer said, looking at the political climate in the UK at the moment, that's what I think is going to happen. And can you imagine how you're going to feel when that happens, when you're looking at poor Lucy Conley, guys, okay? I can't even think of the words. She's there in the prison cell. She's away from her children, because of a tweet. But there we go, guys. That is the new world we are living in. So yeah, that's what I think. But the fact that there's been an absolute media blackout on this, guys, it's very peculiar. Anyway, guys, it's very peculiar. Linda Lewis saying, I think the media have been told not to discuss anything about the Manchester 2. Yeah, that has to be the case, guys. That has to be the case. Right, I'm going to jump over and get the YouTube comments, and then I'm going to caffeinate myself. Creepy Queen, good morning. Creepy Queen is saying she's got her water. And then she says, imagine giving Putin a deadline like he's bothered. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Creepy Queen is putting 2014, OMG. So guys, listen, I don't know if like a lot of you know this or not. The conflict in Ukraine started in 2014. You could argue it started in 2013. You could argue it started in 2013. You could argue it started in 2013 with the Maidan revolution. But the little green men, the annexation of parts of the Donbass, Donetsk, Luhansk, that happened, guys. That did happen in 2014. So this conflict in Ukraine has been going on since 2014. Zoe Dean is saying, what happens if the Russians take Kiev? Does it mean Russians win? Well, this is it. Like, in conflicts, what does a win mean? It's very, people are saying, oh, they're going to win, they're going to win. What does a win mean? What do we mean by a win? The two ways normally would be a surrender and somebody surrendering. Now, or just not being able to fight. Now, the two ways that can, but first of all, guys, all right, a conflict is only over if both sides say it is. So the two ways that can work is total annihilation of the enemy forces, or a 40-year occupation. I don't think the Russians will be able to take Kiev, guys. It's too big. It's too big. It's too vast. I don't think they would even go into Kiev. I think they would just encircle it and cut it off. Claire is saying, morning, everyone. Morning to you. John Giles, UK needs to get its poo together and stop trying to please everyone. I think you're right there as well, John. If you please everyone, you actually please no one. Look at, I tried to stop being critical of Keir Starmer when he took office. I tried to say, I did some videos. I said, look, I'm not going to be critical of Keir Starmer anymore. He's our prime minister. I'm going to try and be as, not critical as I can. But something's telling me, guys, that I saw a post on X the other day. I think it was yesterday, referring Keir Starmer to Ron Burgundy. So for those of you guys who don't know, it's like a comedy film. I can't remember what it's called, but there's this news reporter, this Anchorman, and he will just read anything that's on the teleprompter. And that's how I feel what Keir Starmer does. He just turns up, somebody gives him a piece of paper to read, and he gets up there and he just reads it, and he's like, right, I'm off. And because what he says often contradicts himself. All the time he contradicts himself. And before Keir Starmer got elected, before he was, you could tell he was going to be in power because the Conservatives did such a bad job. People just screaming out something different. One of the things I said is, look, Keir Starmer is a chameleon. He will say and do whatever he needs to do in that particular circumstance to make the right noises and the right sounds. And the problem with that is he doesn't seem like, especially from my eyes anyway, he doesn't seem to have any of his own goals, aspirations, directions, policies. He doesn't seem to have that personality where you're like, yeah, Keir's going to do this. Yeah, that's the type of person he is. He literally reads off the teleprompter. The teleprompter prime minister, that's what you should call it, the teleprompter prime minister. And Paul Sullivan is saying any normal leader would put people first and surrender. Oh, I don't know about that, Paul Sullivan. Listen, I think I'm more listen, I certainly wouldn't I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be waving the white flag. For better or worse, and I get it. I get that, guys, okay? A win at what cost? A win at one cost. I take that argument, but there's something inside me that just wouldn't wave a white flag. Elon Musk turning against Trump again will end in the Republican Party. Musk is super rich. I don't think he's going to end the Republican Party. It's very strange to see what's happening in the United States, guys. It's really strange. For those of you guys who, who've been watching this channel, I've said that Elon Musk is being used for a reason. Once that use of Elon Musk has expired, then they will close Elon Musk down and take his money away from him. Because listen, I'm just going to leave it there, guys. So I don't want to throw negativity on Elon Musk, because I do kind of think he's a good guy, genuinely. Right, Linda Lou is saying apparently Lucy Connolly is having a pretty bad time inside. It's disgusting, guys. It is absolutely disgusting, guys. Absolutely disgusting what's happened to poor Lucy Connolly. Lucy Connolly, not the one I said on the other day with the typo on the video. Sharon Owen is saying my daughter would say that 23 tween. All right, yeah, I was struggling out to say 13, guys. I was struggling out to say 13. Daniel Payne is saying, what do you think about Rupert Lowe's new party? So Rupert Lowe has opened a new party at the same time. Oh, and Debbie Doob's mentioning this as well. So Rupert Lowe's opened a new political party called, I can't remember what it's called, but he's opened a new political party, and Ben Habib has opened up a new party as well. So I don't know what they're thinking, guys. Like, obviously these guys are in communication with each other. Obviously these guys know each other. So so one's called Restore Britain, and then there's another one called, like, I can't remember what the other one's called, but there's two parties, basically. Rupert Lowe's heading one up, and Ben Habib's heading one up. Now, I don't know why these two people have not come together. Why an Advance UK, Advance Britain. So I don't know why these two people have not come together, because surely they'd get more credibility, more collateral if they came together. So I don't. Oh, so Snowdrops is saying Rupert Lowe's isn't a political party; it's just a movement, right? Okay, I didn't realise that. Okay, so it's only Ben Habib, right? Okay, so that would make more sense. What I think that's going to do, guys, it's going to break the reform vote. So you've got you've got a number of people. Like, I would have probably voted reform because there wasn't a better option, but now, it may be the case that I want to vote for Ben Habib's party because of the problems that I'm seeing in, the problems I witnessed firsthand in reform. So what that's going to do is it's going to split the right vote. So rather than people voting for Conservatives or reform, people are now going to vote Conservatives, reform, or what was it? Dilute the vote, or what was it? Restore Britain, or whatever it's called. So it is just going to split the vote, guys. It's going to dilute the vote. I would suspect that is going to, I don't know, I would say closer to the election, they're going to come together. I'd say closer to the election, they're going to come together and work together as a party, because they both know that together, like divide and conquer, they are literally dividing themselves to be conquered, obviously. D. Marie is saying, are they just simply trying to dilute down Reform's vote? Also, he's openly backing Rupert online. Yeah, I mean, you've got to, again, guys, listen, you've got to understand the interpersonal relationships of these people and look about their families. Elon Musk lost a child early on, and he is massively protective over children. So when Elon is looking at the United Kingdom and he's seeing the bad things happening to children in this country, of course it's going to trigger him. Of course it's going to get him angry. Of course he's going to want to help. And who wouldn't want to help, guys? Who wouldn't want to help that scenario? Maybe, I mean, obviously, British government, obviously, they don't want to help, but like, what normal person wouldn't want to help? Right, I'm just going to jump over to YouTube, guys. From Tug's Life. Tug's Life is saying, I think the EU have overstepped the mark on every aspect of everyday life and controlling countries with double Dutch policies. So I think with double Dutch policies, what a good explanation of a double Dutch policy there would be, how is it that people can get sent to jail for a tweet, but they can also be openly on stage calling for terrible things? And as I understand it, guys, they're not, these people have not been sent to prison. Luke Jacobs over on YouTube, he's saying, a bit off topic, but GB New posted an exclusive of UK border control radioing the French about assisting them with an overcrowded boat, and all they cared was about getting out. Whoa! Okay. Right, guys, listen, I am going to have to do some checking on this, but this is a comment from YouTube, guys, okay? So Luke, I'm not saying you're, like, Luke Jacobs, who put this comment up, I'm not saying you're being, like, dishonest or anything. I have to say that for the algorithm, because if it does come out and there's a little bit of mistakes in that, then, I'll get into trouble. But Luke Jacobs is saying, a bit off topic, but GB News posted an exclusive of UK border control radio in the French, so this would be the French authorities. I'm assuming British border control are not radio in the smuggling gangs, to assist them with an overcrowded boat. And all they cared about, I'm assuming the French, was getting their life jackets back. Remember, guys, I said it was all about these. I said something was very fishy about these life jackets. They're all the same. And, like, listen, guys, in my right, Luke, thank you, Luke. Right, guys, I'm just going to jump onto this because it is something that I've been keeping an eye on. Right, what did they post this on? I'm just on the GB News website now. Let me do a search on their website. So for those of you who don't know, guys, I'll be doing, I did a video and I talked about the, the migrants coming over, and I talked about the life jackets. Now, it caught me because in my career, I've had to buy things en masse. And when you're buying things en masse, it's very difficult to buy things at scale. Like, if you want to buy, like, if you want to get a sleeping bag, it's absolutely fine. Go to, like, if you want to buy a sleeping bag, go to, like, I don't know, Blacks or Go Outdoors or whatever. You can buy a sleeping bag for what, like 50 quid or something. If you then want to buy that same sleeping bag from the manufacturer, but you want 10,000 of them, that price will go up because they have to put their production up. They have to make that order specifically for you. So when I'm seeing all these life jackets, I'm thinking, like, where are all these life jackets coming from? Because I know that, I know how those life jackets are, I know how difficult it is to produce things at scale. And if we just speculate that that the people smuggling gangs need 1,000 life jackets per day, do we think that these people smuggling gangs are really that interested in health and safety and making sure people have got those life jackets? So where are these life jackets coming from? Right. So I'm trying to find this, guys, on GB News. I can't find it on GB News. I can't find it on GB News, guys. So I can't find it on GB News, guys. I'll try in a minute when I go over to YouTube, guys. It was posted on TikTok 30 minutes ago. Right, okay. Right, it was posted on TikTok 30 minutes ago. Right, guys, I've not seen that because I've been live on here. But what I said was true. With the migrant crisis into the United Kingdom, those life jackets, guys, all right, at scale, let's just say that you need 1,000 life jackets a day. Now, that would be, you're probably going to need more than that, aren't you? Because let's just say that you send 1,000 people over. Let's just say that you send 1,000 people over. You're not going to get those life jackets back. You're not going to get those life jackets back straight away. So you're probably going to need more than 1,000 life jackets a day. I would say you're probably going to need 3 times as many life jackets per day as you have crossings. That's just me speculating, guys, right? Because you've got your crossings, and it might take a couple of days to get that initial lot of life jackets back. Some of them are going to be broken. Some of them are going to be like just not being able to use. So where are those life jackets coming from, guys? It's been a key question of mine. Also, the engines, like with drones, people are talking about drones and drone warfare. The engine is the key limiting factor, guys. So what happens to the engines what happens to the engines on these boats once they're, once they get over? Are they being destroyed? Like, why isn't anyone investigating that, guys? Why isn't anyone writing Freedom of Information Acts and saying, right, what is happening? Like, imagine when the boat comes, guys, it's got an engine on it. Even the engines, though, I'm not, you can make engines at that scale, guys. You can make engines at that scale. So I'm not really that concerned about the engines, but those life jackets, guys, all right, there's something there with those life jackets. I don't know what it is, guys, but there's definitely something there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm going to jump off screen for a second and caffeinate myself. Can you remember? Click the buttons down below. Help the channel grow, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on TikTok, whatever you're watching on, guys, okay? So do the buttons and the clicks. And Jenks is saying, Jenks is confirming here that it is true. They're talking about the life jackets. I don't know, guys. Are they just watching my channel and listening to the things I'm saying? Look, guys, remember, this is just like, I give you my own analysis. I don't go with what the mainstream are saying. So I will read off it, but I will give you my own opinion. I'll tell you where things are going. Like I said a couple of days back, guys, I started talking about these life jackets. Apparently, it's on GB News now. It's on GB News. They're talking about the life jackets. It's a big thing, guys. The life jackets at scale. Yes, you can go to I don't know, a yachting shop, and you can buy a couple of life jackets. You go in there and ask him for 1,000. He's going to say, whoa, I can't do 1,000. Even the manufacturers will struggle to do 1,000, guys, all right? So where are these life jackets coming from? There has to be a chain of command, guys, okay? There has to be a resupply and a logistics hub on that, guys, all right? Now, who do you think's running that? Just think about that, guys, for a second. Now, I'm not going to speculate here. I'm going to ask a question. When those life jackets get to the United Kingdom, who do you think takes control of them? Put it in the chat, guys, okay? And once I've caffeinated, we'll come back, okay? So the question is, who do you think takes control of those life jackets? And I genuinely don't know the answer, actually, to this. I can speculate. I think I will, yeah. I would speculate that it's... Put it in the chat, guys, who you think takes control of those life jackets when the migrants get back to the shores of the United Kingdom. I'm going to caffeinate myself. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how terrifying that actually is if you ask the logical questions. And keep tapping the screen. We're almost at 50,000. So let me jump down, guys. Let me jump down. So Sharon Owen is saying, I think it's dangerous because Labour could get back in because of split votes. Yeah. So we're talking here about the split with Ben Habib's new party. I think Ben Habib and Reform will do a deal closer to the election time. They have to do. They have to do. Linda Lewis saying, I saw what, yeah, Linda Lewis, lots of people confirming it, guys, lots of people confirming it, what Luke was saying on YouTube. Just jumping down now, guys. Priv Carroll saying, we have an election this year, we have a new party I really like. The girl starting this used to be a nurse who lived a normal life, and she grew up protesting with her family. She also trying to push to have direct democracy with apps, letting us vote on bills and stuff. Oh, I don't know. Listen, guys, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, do we think, so Priv Carroll here is saying that, she wants to have the political party in I believe it is Norway where she is. She's saying that, and I will come on to the comments about the life jackets in a second, guys, but look, so the new political party in Norway is pushing to have direct democracy with apps. So that would be an app on your phone where you can vote to do something. And how quick would that be, guys? So, for example, right, listen, everyone, do you want me to close the borders? Vote on your app. Yes. But when things are done with an app, electronically, they're very easy to, I would speculate it's easier to rig than an actual ballot vote. I understand what you're saying, and it would be a good thing. Like, for example, I've given a few I've given a few suggestions similar in the United Kingdom, whereby you can pay your politician directly, but I do think it's this push, this drive, this move forwards towards, towards digitalization. April Lee saying we should have a Raven party. Right, Keyring is saying they will have serial numbers and kite marks in response to the life jackets. I don't know if they would have serial numbers and kite marks. I mean, you'd expect if they had to be seaworthy, then yes, of course they would, wouldn't they? Yeah, I don't know about the serial number, but certainly the kite mark. So the kite mark is like the safety thing to say it's been safety tested. But again, we'll come on to this in a second, guys. We will ask some logical questions. Paul Poops is saying it's the French Navy. Care for Calais. Right, I don't know what Jenks, can you elaborate on that a little bit more? So Jenks is saying Lucy Letby, 3 arrested. I've been looking into the actual, Lucy Letby case now. I don't think I'm there yet to do a video, but there's some really strange things surrounding that whole trial. That's why the other day when I was talking about Lucy Connolly, I literally just been looking at Lucy Letby and the crimes that she's been convicted of. And I was looking at the statistically the information around that and how she got sent to jail. And there's a lot of question marks for me anyway, guys. I'm not at the stage where I can do a video on it yet, though. Gemini Blessing is saying there's more people talking about life jackets. D-Marie Gen X is saying just anything electronic is easy to manipulate. Yes, it is. Daniel Payne is saying, Sean, have you heard the voice recording from GB News? I'm assuming that we're talking about the life jacket thing, guys. Okay, right. Let me get down, guys. Right. Okay. So if you assume, right, I'm going to ask a question now, guys. I'm going to ask this question, right? Let's just say that when those life jackets get to the United Kingdom, let's just assume, tell me if you think I'm wrong, guys. Please let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let's just say that the RNLI take control of those life jackets, right? And then they're taken control by the border force, right? Let's just does anybody think that's controversial that the border force would take control of seized items crossing the border? I don't think that's controversial, guys. I don't think that's controversial, right? I'd say that's a true statement. So if we accept that as truth, and remember, it might not be the truth, but I would say it is. So the border force take control of the life jackets, right? At some point, if this is happening, and I struggle to see how this can't be happening, if at some point those life jackets come back, then that means that there is a direct link between the UK border force and the criminal gangs, and they're working together. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Look, that's all I'm saying. This is it's really terrifying that if those life jackets are being taken off and they do make another trip, that means that there is a working relationship. Tell me other words to say, guys. Tell me other words to describe this. That would mean that there's a working relationship between the border force and the criminal gangs. I don't see how else that can work, guys. I don't see how else you can get those life jackets. If this is happening, I don't know if it is. I don't see any other way that you can get those life jackets back on those migrants without involving those gangs. I just don't see it, guys. I don't see any way around it, guys. I really don't. So, and they are, and I feel they're legitimate questions, guys. I really do. I feel those questions are 100% legitimate. And what I've said there, I don't think it's controversial at all. Right, and Priv Caro's so Priv Caro is saying it will be easier. So we're talking about this digital, the digitalization of voting in Norway. And Priv Caro is saying it will be easier for the government to see what people want. Yes, I agree with that 100%. It will be. I agree with that, guys, as well. And listen, guys, I agree with the the sentiment of this. Like, can you imagine on your phone now if Keir Starmer said, "Right, everyone, it's going to be a swizzle, but do you want to close the borders? Vote now." Yes, close them. And then Keir goes, "All right, everybody wants to vote them. Yeah, right, we'll all close the borders." But the problem is these electronic, these things that are electronic, they're easy to manipulate. They're easy to hack. They're easy to turn off. So yeah, that is genuinely what I think. And as well, if you do that, that means that your phone then becomes part of you. And you start to digitalize yourself because you can't vote on something unless you've registered with your passport, I guess, and been authenticated. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm going to turn you guys off on TikTok. Thank you guys as well. Thank you for being here. We got to 50,000. Thank you so much. I'll be back on tonight at 8. The crux of this video, guys, the crux of this live stream was the situation. Oh, hang on. Yeah, so the crux of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give you guys an update on Ukraine. I wanted to let you guys what was happening in Ukraine. The situation, it's not gone anywhere. It's not died down. Just the reality is people are not reporting on it, guys, all right? Britain I would say Britain is the leader in this coalition of the willing. And while we was on live stream, guys, okay, something was said about the life jackets. Again, I've spoke about those life jackets. If you ask the logical questions, you come to a terrifying conclusion, guys. Tell me I'm wrong, please. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. All right, I think I'm going to do a video on this later on. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I'm going to be answering the questions on YouTube, and I'll see you guys later at 8. And we are off the swizzle. The swizzle is off. Right, do I need to click any buttons? No, I do not. Right. Right, let me jump up. So Chris B is saying the CCP is gaining military strength. Who do you mean by CCP? Soviet state of Russia? I don't know. Who do you mean by CCP? Do you mean Russia? Oh, China. Sorry. We mean China. Sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, so in USSR means Soviet state of, what does it mean? Soviets. So I can't remember what the USSR is, but I thought you was talking about that. Of course, the CCP is China. So Chris B is saying China is gaining in military strength and will surpass Russia soon. When will they expand their 9-dash line to... So, as far as China's concerned now, guys, like, if I was China and I'm looking around the world and I'm looking at all these countries fighting each other, I wouldn't do anything. Honestly, guys, I wouldn't do anything. I would do nothing. I would try to avoid conflict like the plague. Because, let's just say, I don't know, Russia and Europe destroying each other. They're spending their money, their time, their resources, their young men, they're all going into this grinder and they're degrading their own countries. Like, Europe and Russia, we're going to degrade our own countries fighting this war. And at the end of it, China's going to be an order of magnitude more powerful if they do not get involved, if they do not get involved militarily. So I would say they would try and hold out and wait, because it makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense in trying anything militarily now. If your enemy's destroying themselves, just leave them to it and wait till they've stopped destroying themselves and say, right, yeah, we're gonna come and take you now. You see what I mean, guys? Okay, I don't see that. If it was me and I was China, I would try and hold out for as long as possible. Debbie Doobs is saying, if the French are handing out life jackets, then surely they are enabling those migrants. I thought we were paying the French to stop these crossings. Claire is saying, as soon as the boats arrive in the water in France, they call the RNLI in England and they go pick them up off their little boats and bring them back to the shore, the big boat centre in Dover. Yeah, look, guys, look, for me, it's all about these life jackets. Those life jackets, like, why hasn't somebody put a tracker in one? Luke is saying it might be partnered with the digital ID. Yeah, I think we're talking about the in Norway. Sean, why don't you go down and investigate? It'd be very difficult to investigate as like a private citizen, because think about it. Those migrants are getting taken in the channel. All right, they're getting taken in the channel. They're getting brought on RNLI boats, and they're getting brought back to the UK. All this stuff is protected, and then that stuff will be given to. Look, guys, we're not on TikTok now. I don't see any way that those life jackets can't have. Like, I don't see any way that those life jackets can't be taken control of by the Border Force, right? I've tried to buy things en masse, like, I don't know, 50,000 tourniquets. Nobody's got 50,000 tourniquets. You have to put that in, and you have to buy it in batches. So, like even the British military was struggling to get 10,000 sets of warm weather kit. They have to have them made specially. So, are we saying that criminal gangs have a listen, it may be the case. Are we saying that criminal gangs have a better logistics chain than the British military? Are we saying that? Are we saying that criminal gangs actually care? Remember, they're criminal gangs. Are we saying that criminal gangs actually care that much and they want to put life jackets on these people? Or are we saying that these life jackets are being recycled? Let's go to the easiest solution. Easiest solution would be that those life jackets are getting reused. If they are getting reused, guys, and I think they are, just think about this. If those life jackets are getting reused, that means that there is a working relationship, a positive working relationship with the border force in the UK and the criminal gangs. How else is it happening, guys? How else is it happening? And then people say, why can't we stop it? Why can't we stop it? Well, we kind of need the border force to stop sending them the life jackets back. Patriotic Brit 47 is saying, I like Ben Habib, but we can't split the vote. We need to take this chance and unite and finally get a right-wing party in charge with reform. Another 4 years of Labour and we are doomed. Patriotic Brit, I feel your patriotism, my friend. I will say, from my experience, I was going to stand I was standing as a candidate for reform at the last election. The political system, excuse me. Oh, I may have got a little bit of limescale in that coffee. The political system in the United Kingdom is broken. It's not going to matter who we have in charge, guys. It's not. It's really not going to matter who we've got in charge. I think what Ben Habib is doing, I think it's a smart thing. So Farage now will know that his vote has been split. I think what Ben Habib is going to do closer to the election, what Ben Habib will do is say, right, I control this amount of your vote. You're going to lose unless we team up together. And at that point, you would see pressure on Farage to team up with Ben Habib. And I think that's what they should do anyway. But that would give Ben Habib more influence over that sphere. So I think it's a smart thing what he's doing. And I do think they're going to come together closer to the election. Remember, guys, the election, the earliest I think like an election can be is the earliest. Well, they can call one anytime. I think but realistically, an election is not. We're not going to see an election until 2029, and I think the very latest would be 2030 when we could have an election. Would be the very latest. Claire is saying Craig Houston talked to workers on site when they recovered the little boats, they have emptied something on the floor. He suspects they are concealing items to bring to the UK. Listen, I've suspected this all along, guys, okay? I have, and Bike Life just says Russian forces suck. I've suspected this all along, guys, all right? It would make sense. If you're a criminal gang, you're involved in crime, and I don't think it's controversial me saying that if you're a criminal gang, you're involved in crime. I don't think anybody can get me done for fake news. So if you're a criminal gang and you're involved in crime, you want to make money, I'm assuming. So what better way to make money than bring contraband over with these vessels? Now, we're talking about things there that are relatively small packages. Like, I don't know, for example, one of those water bottles there, an empty one of those water bottles, you could fit a lot of stuff in that. It would be waterproof. You could have that dangling behind the boat. You could have a waterproof bag dangling behind the boat. And if the RNLI come out and intercept you, you just let it go. It sinks to the bottom and nobody knows it's been there. I would say that there's a lot of weapons and munitions come over this way, because if you're one of the people smugglers, the boat gangs, you're gonna know when to set your boats off. You're gonna know how many intercepts the RNLI can do before they've got no boats left. You're gonna know where the best time and place to get your guys in that's most likely for those guys to get on shore. And I would say, guys, for optics, you've probably got a big amount of people going straight over from Cali, straight over, most direct route. I'd say you've got a good amount of people going Deal, maybe not Folkestone, maybe Deal, the other towns up that coastline. I would say, you've got a lot of boats going in there as well that are probably just not checked because the optics are not there, the media attention's not there. And again, guys, look, if you're a criminal gang, you'd want to maximize your finances. Right, I'm jumping down to the bottom, guys. Okay. And Henfish is saying three former senior staff arrested around the Lucy Letby. Breaking news. Yeah, guys, look, again, the other day when I was doing the video and I said Lucy Letby instead of Lucy Conley, it's because I've been looking into this Lucy Letby case, guys. There's a lot of question marks, guys, okay, around that. Guys, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that there are a lot of question marks around that case. Sharon Owen is saying, remember when they first came over and they shut some beaches because they found firearms? I can't remember that, Sharon. No, but it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, you know what? I can only imagine why the RNLI gets their money from donations. So who donates? Does anyone donate to who donates to the RNLI anymore? I've got D Marie Gen X is saying, I have so many questions around these dinghy men. Why? What's the benefit? Who's doing this? Is it outside the UK government or international for breakdown of social cohesion? It makes no sense. Well, yesterday we was talking about how historically Russians have used people movement as a way to control people. So, I don't think it's one answer. I think it's a lot of answers put together. But one of the easiest things that you can think about is those life jackets, guys, okay? If those life jackets are being reused, and I think they are, if those life jackets are being reused, then there's no way there is no other way around it, guys, right? If those life jackets are being reused, then there is a working relationship between the border force and the criminal gangs. Do you know what? I'll rephrase that. You might want to have this as a soundbite. If those life jackets are being reused, and I believe they are, if those life jackets are being reused, then there is a positive working relationship between the British government and the criminal gangs. There we have it, guys. There we have it. That, and I don't see how anyone can argue with that statement, guys. That I believe is a true statement. Debbie Doobs is saying, I've watched the docs on Lucy Letby. She was a scapegoat. Debbie, I'm not going to comment. I will do a video once I've got more information on this. I will. But, you know, yeah, isn't it strange how I do a video, like, and then a couple of, literally, I do videos, guys, and then literally, even when I make mistakes in videos, and talk about other, like, when I said Lucy, and forgive me. So the other day I'm talking about a video, and because I was doing a video and I was talking about the Lucy Conley case, and I'd just been researching on the Lucy Letby case. I've been looking up all, like, and lots of anomalies in that case. I thought I said Lucy Letby instead of Lucy Connolly, and then a couple of days later, it's all on the breaking news about Lucy Letby. Anyway, guys, I'm going to jump down and get these right. Yeah, Lisa Jane, so Lisa Jane, this is what we were talking about. It's all going to be key with those life jackets, guys. That is what's going to bring them down, guys, all right? That is what's going to bring them down. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys are fantastic as always. If you're watching and you've not done so already, can you hit the buttons down below? Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, all those things that help the channel grow. And I will see you guys later at 8, I hope.